I'm sorry I've been missing for 2 months. I was going through some really bad stuff and I was learning certain lessons, and I didn't want to teach you guys something if the opposite was turning out to be true. I learned so much and I really want to share the information with you. I was basically in a situation where uh, I had to choose between shelter and food. Not to sound dramatic, but that's what this video is about. Like, if you can't pay your rent, and it's not because you're an idiot spending all your money, but it's like you're doing everything you can and you can't pay your rent, or you're starving. I wanted to tell you guys what I did, what worked for me, because sometimes you feel stuck but you don't realize there's some stuff that you can do, and or certain help you might not think to call on. So I wanted to tell you what worked for me. I will give a disclaimer. I was starving during this, but that's because my focus was so intently on pay rent, pay bills, that I kind of neglected to also manifest food. But when I started, bam, it came. So my first focus was on, I had enough to pay all the bills and most of rent, but it got to the point to where I was going to be consistently a little short on rent, and I was like, uh-oh. So I was looking for a job, of course, that paid way more, that was like more hours. So I was taking action, selling things, living off savings. That went kind of quick. I'm shaking because the heater's not on. I want you guys to be able to hear me. It's after midnight here, and I don't want to be shouting like, welcome to my channel, and the neighbors like, shut up. So yeah, basically I basically what I did was I was doing tarot because I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to make my rent this month. And it was an ancestors tarot, and one of my ancestors from my last life, sorry if that weirds you out, was giving me advice. He was like advising me not to do, basically not to give up. Like, don't go back to what broke you, even if you're worried about being homeless or starving. Like, he kept saying, like for 20 minutes, like, don't. Like, you got out, like, don't even, no. And it was basically like saying, pray for a miracle. And I was like, pray? I've done that. Like, I talked to God and angels, spirit guides, but it was like, pray. I'm like, that's okay, sure. But so I did pray, but I also know you're supposed to have faith. So I was like, okay, and I've done so many things in faith, miracles happen, but with this, it was, for some reason, even though I've manifested money before, I was like, oh, this time, whoa, I don't know why. But anyway, so what I did was I did pray, and there were times where I was like, oh yeah, it's coming. Other times it was getting closer, and I was like, where is it, guys? I'm freaking out a little bit. So I did Hindu mantras, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But yeah, I use a variety of things. The first thing I want to say is, let's get the obvious out of the way. Obviously, you don't buy like things you don't need. It's bills and food when you're in that's a given, but some people don't think of that. So that's the first thing. The other thing that you want to do is, wow, make sure you still have a soul and compassion on people. Like, I still felt bad for people even when they weren't in a bad situation, as bad a situation as me. Like, I've been in situations where I was like hungry, but you're giving somebody else food who isn't as close to death as you. That was something to, but you still feel bad for them because they're hungry. Now, don't give away your rent money. Don't be stupid. But you you still got to show compassion for people. Like, if somebody's not as bad of a situation, but you still have to understand, is it's like, that's the worst they've gone through. That's like their little hell. And you might be the only person, like, you might not be able to afford to give money to help people right now, but it's like, but you can give a word of encouragement or a listening ear. Or maybe you have blankets you're getting rid of. Take it to, just give it to somebody who needs it. It's not just the homeless, you guys. There are people in apartments that are behind on rent, or they're paying it, but they're starving to pay it, which is what I was doing. And yeah, so just, it's great to help like Africa and homeless people, and you definitely want to do that because they're in a really bad state. But there's people that are like in your own community that like are actually starving and you don't realize it. So, and even if it's a first world country, because their only thing is that they just don't make enough, no matter how much they, yeah. So just remember those people. The other thing I want to say is make sure that you're showing gratitude for what you do have, and everybody goes on about gratitude. God, it's so cold in here. Um, Everybody goes on about gratitude, but and what you want to do is it's partly to make you feel better in the moment, but it's also because the way the universe works, what you're focused on grows. So if you're focusing on good, the universe is like, oh, you like that, and they throws more at you. If you're focusing on all the negative, the universe is like, I got some more shit for you. So don't focus on the negative. Like, acknowledge it. Don't be the person that's like, oh, I'm grateful for Mars, and they don't try in life. It's like you want to look at the situation. This sucks. I want out, and take action to get out. But what you also want to do is, while you're getting out of the pile of crap that you're in, notice the little flower growing in it and go, wow, thank you that there's a flower in this heap of crap. Sorry, but that's the analogy I came up with. And definitely get out of it. And when you get out of it, good things do happen, especially if you're a really good person. But you'll go through periods where there's character building, because you can start off as a heart chakra empath and they're like, expand your heart, and you're like, oh crap. So there's a lot of stuff like that, spiritual awakening, purging of trauma. It's like a little rain cloud. I love the rain, but it's like for this analogy, it's like it's purging you of all the trauma. It's getting rid of bad habits that don't serve you so you can become your best self. It's getting rid of all this crap. And then don't drink every time I say crap. And then you, at the end, like you pursue your dreams, you get to this field of a bunch of flowers, and your soulmate's there, and there's the sun, and it's wonderful. So that's the goal. Well, nobody in the spirit realm actually wants you to be poor and starving. It's like, or miserable. Like, that's not, nobody's goal is that, except maybe like the dark stuff. Sorry, talking really fast. I have tea and stuff. So yeah, make sure that you still have compassion and gratitude even in your lousy situation, and you're doing the basics. Now it's the part where we talk about the magical stuff, because sometimes the earth plane's not enough. You need some help. So I did affirmations, but to grow my faith, I knew that I was gonna have to focus on money, and that's kind of foreign to me. Like, I appreciate money, but like I don't know, I'm always focused on like success, but I forget that money, it comes with it. It's like, it's cool, but I'm like, I want to max out my potential. I want people to like share my talents. I want to like go on vacation with, people you love, and like take care of your health, and help people. So it's kind of like, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you can shop when you have money, because I haven't shopped in forever. But anyway, but the point is, so I knew I was gonna have to focus on abundance and all that to slam it into your subconscious that it was actually gonna happen. So in addition to, you know, talking to God, angels, my spirit guides, doing some Hindu mantras. Those work, by the way. You don't have to be Hindu. You can just have an open mind and be like, I'll see what this does. And it does. Like, and they can find you without you trying to find them. That sounds ominous, but I'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, what I did was, there's these YouTube videos. In addition to like my own affirmations, there's these YouTube videos where they'll say an affirmation, you repeat it, they'll have stuff on the screen that you repeat, good stuff. And I chose some money specific ones because that's what I was trying to work on. And they also had visuals, and it's kind of funny because at first I wasn't starving, but as time went on, and here's the weird thing, I was actually like getting kind of like, I had this like determination, like I will never ever be behind on my rent. Now, my account hit zero multiple times, so don't think that I had all this money. Like, it was like life and death stress all the time. And then starvation, and that kind of snuck on me. I'm like, oh, I'm actually starving. But like every single month, I paid all my bills on time, and I always somehow, and I'll tell you how, got like the rent money. It was always paid on time. At first just by me and by miracles, and toward the end there were still miracles, but it was other people. And guys, the way it comes in is miraculous. So I'm doing these affirmations, and there's I'm like looking at the food, and I'm like, food, food. But I noticed like the pretty fancy stuff too, and like vacations and all that stuff. And it's really funny because they had luxury cars in it. And where I live, there's one guy with a luxury car. Nobody else has them. So this wasn't reticular activating. They were not there before. Like, because it stands out like a tiger in a grocery store. Like, you notice them. Like, they're beautiful. And there's like this thing that's like out of place in your little village. It's not a village, but you know what I mean? So it stood out. And then, so after, and that's the thing with affirmations, if you're in a crisis, you can't just do like 10 or 15 minutes and be like, oh, I hope something happens. You have to slam the living crap out of your subconscious. I'm talking like an hour and a half every day of affirmations, visualizations focused on like, well, if it's a crisis, it's probably about money, but like, like that, like just pelt the living crap out of it. I said crap again, Jesus. Okay, so just like really focus on that. And luxury cars started like coming into my reality, like even specific ones that were in the videos that I was focused on. And the funny thing is, the ones that showed up the most were the colors that I happened to like. And I didn't like intend anything. I was just like, I didn't even feel anything. I was just like, I don't know. Yes, I felt fine, but I mean, I wasn't like, I was just kind of like, I noticed them, but I wasn't like trying to manifest a car, I just saying. So there was this pretty blue one, and then I kept seeing silver ones, like tons of silver ones were showing up. And this is so cool. So there's this orange car in the video. I called it the pumpkin car, probably because I was kind of hungry, but like, it's this like, Halloween decorations, no, Thanksgiving decorations where it's like the pumpkin is like a rust kind of color. It was like that. It was this rusty orange, like really fancy. It's a pumpkin car, and I was like, that's so cool. Well, anyway, I saw the pumpkin car drove by in this place, and I was like, it's the pumpkin car. I'm like, holy crap, when do you see a pumpkin car? So I pulled out my phone because I thought, I bet there's an angel number message, because sometimes there is. And I looked, and it said it was 143, and 143 is it's a love number, because it's like I love you. It's like like the number of like letters that it's spelling out. You get it. But yeah, it was really sweet because it was actually my twin flame soulmate's higher self saying I love you. Like sometimes numbers like that'll manifest my reality, especially at specific moments. I should make a video. It's so sweet. So yeah. So anyway, so in addition to that, what I also did was Hindu mantras. And how I actually discovered them, it's really weird because I discovered them by accident, and I found out like they're actually real. So and then I got into them because I'm like, wow, I guess they're real independent of what you believe. But really, you guys, the Hindus and all that stuff, or some of them anyway, it's like they meditate so much. It's kind of like when you meditate, you get some really profound insights, etc. I found out parts of my future that way. It's a really supernatural experience that I'll talk about late, like another video. But yeah, you don't just for like 12 hours a day and not discover mysteries about the universe. So, and you don't have to be Hindu to do them, because I didn't even do them. I just turned them on and was like, open-minded. I didn't have like a belief. I was like, we'll see what happens. And as long as you're not approaching them like thinking it's evil, as long as you're just like, they work. Some people have to do them several times, and for some people it like happens really fast. But wow, it's cold. I need to turn on the heater. But yeah, so I just listened to them on YouTube, and I didn't even say them because I would have screwed it up. They can bring, it's not just money, like they can bring other stuff in your life too. It's really cool. And guys, basically whatever God you talk to, whatever God means to you, source, the universe, make sure you say thank you, or if it's a specific, like your guides or your angels. God, it's so cold. Just say thank you, like really heartfelt thank you. And you don't have to just do Hindu mantras when you want something. You can just be like, I remember that time you helped me. That was really cool. Or you know what? I think I'll listen to something peaceful and beautiful. And you might get a blessing just as a surprise, or maybe not, but it's really cool. Also, I started seeing elephants everywhere because Ganesh was one of the ones I did. It's really cool. Okay, so what were some of the things that actually showed up? Like, after the whole sell things and savings wiped out, and obviously you have some income, but I actually had people give me money, and I know that sounds insane, but there were people that didn't know my side story. Like, I never panhandled, but no judgment. If you have to do that, do it, temporarily. But I'm just saying, I never did that. But like, I had some people that didn't know my story, but circumstances worked out to where they were giving me money. Somebody else had like a lawsuit that they happened to be lumped into, and they thought, huh, and they were like, well, I know you sometimes they didn't know my circumstances, but they knew that I sometimes manifest money, or you know not often enough, but like I don't focus on it enough. But so they gave me some. And there was one time where when I woke up, I was just like so stressed. I was like, oh my god, how am I going to do it this month? Or you know I missed eating, like, okay, I was eating, but like not enough for like yeah. Looking in the mirror scared me because it was like, holy crap. The professor of an anatomy class would have been thrilled to have my little skeleton there, like, because like you could see everything, like, or thereabouts. It was scary. So, my child never starved. I'm gonna say that. It's like I made sure he was fed, and during the worst parts, I like had him spend time with his dad without saying hey, because I didn't want him to use it against me, like, oh, you look at you. It's like, well, okay, you did that anyway. So yeah, um hang on, where was I? Oh yeah. Oh yes. So I woke up and I was just like, oh my god. And this woman texts me, and now this wasn't like it was